In today's video, I'm testing the Angwatt F1 electric scooter, which you can pick up for under 500 euros. How does it perform in real-world use and is it worth buying? All that in the rest of the video. Let's get started. Over the last few months, I've tested an avalanche of e-bikes, and I freely admit bikes are my natural habitat. When friends went crazy for e-scooters a few years back, I eyed them from a safe distance. They struck me as wobbly, easy to crash, and generally something you needed to baby along smooth pavement. Hardly my idea of fun when I'm used to shoving a mountain bike into ankle-deep mud for an adrenaline hit. Then Banggood.com reached out offering me the Angwatt F1 electric scooter for review. I have to admit my first response was, not for me. But curiosity won out and I asked myself, if not now, when will I try? In the end I agreed, and a few days later, a courier showed up with a fairly small but very heavy box. I decided the whole piece would be done from the perspective of someone who's never been into scooters, to see whether the Angwatt F1 could win me over enough to keep it for good. First impressions and assembly. The scooter arrived after about a week in a low, long, and fairly heavy box. No surprise because the scooter weighs nearly 30 kilograms. Inside, I found a user manual, including how to remove the speed limiter, a charger, 2 NFC keys, and the display, but no assembly instructions. Yet you do have to remove all transport locks, unfold the scooter, mount the handlebar, rear fender, and extra brace. It was fairly intuitive even for a total scooter newbie, but a clear manual or short video would help amateurs a lot. Working by eye, I first mounted the stem backward, so the bar ended up too close to me. A quick removal of the display, twist of the stem, and I fixed it in minutes. If you want to see the full assembly video, there's a link to a separate clip in the description. The Angwatt F1 is made of a steel and aluminum mix. It carries EU certification and has its own serial number. Weight exactly 27 kilograms. It's quite stiff and sits fairly high. The maker fitted a 1000 watt brushless motor. The scooter can reach 50 kilometers per hour, and climbs of even 25% are supposed to be no big deal. The 10-inch tubeless tires stand out. They're thick, promising better control on bumps and light off-road. When the surface gets rough, dual suspension steps in. A spring with oil damping up front, a big rear spring in back. For brakes, we get cable-actuated disc calipers, and interestingly, the controller adds electronic braking support. Lighting is complete. Front lens headlight, side markers, rear running light, and brake light. From the handlebar, you can also switch on turn signals that flash both front and rear. They use the same LEDs as the brake light, meaning when you brake after dark the signals disappear. Not ideal, though the scooter is still highly visible. Folded, the scooter measures just 117 by 70 by 55 centimeters, so it fits almost any car trunk. I got it into a tiny Swift. The command center is an integrated screen with an NFC sensor. You start it with a small NFC card. 2 are included. You can also copy the NFC key to your phone with up to 3 active keys total. Power comes from a 48-volt, 18.2 ampere-hour battery. The maker claims 50 to 70 kilometers of range, obviously depending on riding style and rider weight. Max load is 120 kilograms. On the bar there's also a horn, loud and identical to the one on nearly every e-bike I review. There's a DS button meant for dual motor scooters. Since we have only one motor here, it's redundant. The right side hosts the throttle while the middle is dominated by a huge display. It's very plasticky and hard to read in full sun. It scratches easily because to power on or off, you swipe an NFC key along one of its edges. The screen shows useful info: current gear, speed, battery voltage, trip distance, total mileage, plus error codes and statuses such as lights on. I really like the extra battery voltage readout. It's more precise than the usual bars. Angwatt F1 in practice. At first I struggled to get comfortable. The deck is huge and rubberized, so your feet stay planted, but you feel pretty high off the ground. At the rear, there's a metal brace shielding the plastic fender. 2 red cross braces let you rest a foot for aggressive riding and serve as a handhold when carrying the scooter up steps. As a newbie, I had trouble finding the right stance, but after a few kilometers, my body synced with the F1 and riding stopped being tiring and became fun. The scooter has 5 ride modes, each capping power and speed. A great setup for amateurs like me. First gear tops out around 10 km per hour with gentle throttle response. Even if you twist to full, it eases you up to 10. Second gear means 15 km per hour and a livelier throttle. Third hits 25 km per hour and lets you launch briskly once you're used to it. Fourth gives 35 km per hour and you need a light hand on the throttle because torque can spin the wheel on the spot. Fifth lets you blast up to 50 km per hour. This spread helps you tune the scooter to conditions. When I left asphalt for a dirt road, dropping to first gear let me roll more smoothly through ruts. Crucially, the F1 is extremely stable, which pleasantly surprised me. It was my biggest worry. No wobble, no pulling, nothing rubbing. The suspension works great. I soon stopped worrying about small curbs, potholes, speed bumps, or uneven sidewalks. High-speed riding isn't a fight for survival. It's huge fun thanks to the stability. During filming, I was doing over 40 km per hour on gravel, clowning for the camera, diving onto packed earth, climbing hills. There's also cruise control. Activate it and you can let go of the throttle and it cancels automatically when you brake or twist again. The scooter accelerates well and also stops very well. I expected cable discs to feel underpowered for the combined mass of the F1 and my body, but I was pleasantly surprised. No squeak, no fade, plenty of braking power, and electronic braking helps too. One tip: shorten the brake cables. I didn't, and they stuck out a good 10 centimeters. Crossing a field, a cable snagged the caliper and locked the front brake. Luckily, I was crawling low speed on rough ground, so no harm done. I had to walk 15 kilometers home with a locked wheel. Luckily, I came across a guy who builds engines for Beetles. He helped me unlock the brakes and cut the cables at the same time. Range and battery. The maker says 50 to 70 kilometers per charge with an 8-hour recharge time. Riding first cautiously, then cruising 25 to 35 kilometers per hour, I managed almost 60 kilometers and I weigh nearly 100 kilograms. Angwatt F1, what I didn't like. As much as I like this scooter, a few negatives stand out. First, the throttle. Out of the box, the screw that sets return tension was cranked too tight, so the throttle often failed to snap back. I even asked the manufacturer about it, picturing the scooter shooting off driverless if I bailed. They advised adjusting the screw, loosening it helped, but didn't fully cure the sticky throttle issue. You can't loosen it much further because it also secures the throttle to the bar. I'll probably swap the throttle eventually. Next gripe, the folding joint. The F1 folds and unfolds quickly, but something inside keeps creaking under bolt tension. I hate rattles and creaks. The maker told me to tighten the joint bolts. I did, but nothing changed. So I've just learned to live with it when I hit a bump. The scooter is also not light. There's a handy lift point at the rear fender, but nothing similar near the bar, which makes lugging 27 kilograms upstairs awkward. Lights are bright, and after dark I have few complaints. Powerful front LED with lens, running lights front and rear, side markers, and extra front-rear LEDs that brighten under braking. But the turn signals repurpose the brake LEDs. Counterintuitive. Squeeze a brake lever and the signals cut out. Angwatt F1 Summary. I'd never stood on an electric scooter before, yet here I am, someone who's ridden bikes for years and lately tests ever newer e-bikes, giving a little two-wheeler I once saw as unstable and risky a real chance. After more than a month of testing, I can say the Angwatt F1 has sold me on scooters. It's very stable, comfortable, accelerates great, and is simply fun to ride. Thick tires, solid brakes, and full suspension help, and I like its looks and responsiveness. Still, I'd love a more readable display, a refined throttle, and a fold joint that doesn't creak, which really annoys me. For city riding, the Angwatt F1 is an excellent choice. It can tackle mild off-road, but if you want to thrash roots in a forest, this isn't the machine. Thanks a ton for sticking around to the very end. If you made it this far, drop a comment, give the video a thumbs up, and consider subscribing. It really boosts the channel and helps me line up more cool gear for independent reviews. Thinking of grabbing this scooter? You'll find a direct link to the store in the description below. Thanks again, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers!